Hey, my name's Jason Heon. This is my TED Talk for RSM 392. I spent my practicum working with Coastal Carolina baseball, specifically with the analytics and video department as analytics and video intern. And so I applied for the job in the summer, interviewed just a couple weeks into the semester, around early September. And then finally, when everything cleared up, I was able to start around mid to late October. So mostly what I did for my practicum was I had to use programs, namely Exos and TrackMan, to record games and practices, and then also to track the stats during those games. Some of the stats that we track for the analytics department is spin rate, pitch velocity, exit velocity, launch angle, and a few others that are a little more advanced, but those are some basic ones that teams use just to get a better idea of how players are performing outside of just their actual stats, such as strikeouts, home runs, hits, that sort of thing. The reason why I wanted to do this was I wanted to get a little more experience for my hopeful career in baseball. And I understand that sports are becoming a little more on the analytical side. And so you kind of have to have a good understanding of that if you really want to be part of sports in the major leagues. So such as Major League Baseball, the NBA, NFL, that sort of thing. A lot of it is becoming a lot more analytical. So they want candidates to understand analytics coming into it rather than having to learn everything, on job. So that was a couple of things that I learned from this practicum too, is that I have to keep on learning, and that there's a lot of things that, even though I think I understand the game of baseball, that because of the advanced analytics these days, there's a lot of things that I just don't understand and that I have to learn, and things that people who already have experience have to teach me, because I can't just teach myself, especially when it comes to the different types of technology that they're using these days. And also I learned what coaches and teams are looking for when they're actually hiring, and how they want to see that you're dedicated to the team performance rather than just making money, bringing in a bigger paycheck, because obviously sports you can make a lot of money in. But the people who are hiring you, they don't want you to just be interested in that. They want you to be interested in the success of the team and being dedicated to working hard for the team and making the team as successful as possible. So we'll take a quick look at some of the things that I did during my 60-hour practicum. And let me pull those Excel sheets up right here. So as you can see right here, this is some of our offensive calculations that we did, and this is a spreadsheet that we have that includes batting practice statistics that I have pulled up right here. So you can see we have all the hitters. We have, like I said, their exit velocities, their launch angles. Those are both averages in the first column, C and D, and then we have the rest of their averages for their batting practice hits in the rest of these columns. Then we have some game and scrimmage stats right here. So you can see their plate appearances, batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and then some weighted statistics and some percentages that we use. Again, just to see kind of a more in-depth look at how players are playing. We have that again with here's some more averages for the players. Then we have it broken down into against right-handed hitters, against left-handed pitchers, and then by zone. So this is depending on where the pitch is in the strike zone. You can see their batting average, for high pitches, their batting average for low pitches, and that sort of thing, and then how much they're swinging and missing. And then we also have it separated into each and every player's statistics for every single hitter on this team. We also have pitching statistics. So again, we have totals. So we have their averages, some stats that are more widely known, such as ERA, average against, on base percentage against. Those are a little bit more popular. We also have strikeout percentage, walk percentage, and home run percentage, as you can see. And then we have this broken down into fastballs, which would be obviously fastballs, and sinkers are mostly the two types of fastballs that we throw at Coastal. So we have their average velocity and their max velocity for their fastball, the spin rate, like I said, the tilt, which is very important in distinguishing what kind of pitch they're actually throwing. And then we have the break, both vertically and horizontally, and plenty of other different types, such as zone percentage, how much of the strike zone they're getting, extension, which is used to work on pitching mechanics more, and so on and so forth. And then we have that same thing for their off-speed pitches. Again, we only throw two kinds here at Coastal, either a changeup or a splitter. So with this, you can see the average velocities are a little lower, the spin rates are lower, the tilt is a little bit higher, and then there's usually more break on these than there are on their fastballs. And then we have breaking balls. Again, lower average velocities for everyone, higher spin rate than the off speeds, usually around the same, if not a little more than fastballs. And then we have this again broken down into count, such as when pitchers are throwing their first pitch at the at-bat, when they're ahead in the count, when the count's even, or when they're behind, and then with 2 strikes and a 3-2 count. And then just like the offensive stats, we have it broken down into each individual player. So right here you can see Reese. We can see his pitch count right there, how many balls, how many called strikes, how many swinging strikes, those both as percentages. And then we can see there's his average velocity, his average spin rate, his average tilt, and so on and so forth. And then we also have every single pitch that he threw throughout the fall that we also will look at. And that's how we calculate all these stats, obviously, is by using those. And you can see we get pretty in depth with it. So here's like his slider, which is a breaking ball, and we can see how many he threw and all the different stats, such as strikes, called strikes, swinging strikes, walk, ball, and so on and so forth for every single pitcher on the team. And so that is basically everything that we do. And like I said, my name is Jason Heon. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. I worked with Coastal Carolina Baseball, and it definitely helped prepare me for my future that will hopefully be continuing in a career in baseball.